Hey fam, Dan Mother back again. Yeah, heard some interesting stuff. Been here, still hearing some interesting stuff, and it's kind of been ongoing and continuing. And we're gonna go over some stuff. Okay, transsexual, transgender, and gender dysphoria. What's it all about? Okay, transsexuals. The word the us in the LGBT community use to identify ourselves as transsexual, either women or transsexual men. Now I'd be going off when it comes to trans women, going male to female, or trans men from female to male. And it's also considered, back then it was also considered gender identity disorder. For many of us, it still is. And for many of us, we go away as a legitimate transsexual, which means we have the dysphoria, and we have this mental um, need, so to speak, to medically transition and live as the opposite sex. It's I'm going through my medical transition to look and act in the world as a woman, even though I'm biologically male. And I've been through some surgeries, and I'm planning on going through a couple more to help alleviate my gender dysphoria. It's not going to go anywhere. Surgeries just to relieve it, and get some relief. And also, that's in a nutshell with transsexual. Okay, now they've come out with this new word a while back ago, and it's called transgender, which is a word that had the same meaning and same diagnosis, but they called it gender dysphoria, and proceeded to do the same thing for gender reassignment. You know, today it's coming to this big umbrella term. If you're anything, you're transgender. Okay, but no. And people don't realize that there's sometimes gay men that like to act feminine, and there's straight men that like to do that. Is act feminine. And sorry about the yawning. It's like after 11 p.m. I'm starting to get a little tired here this evening. Tired tonight going into the next morning. And transgender was supposed to be a word to replace transsexual. And gender dysphoria is meant to be and mean the same thing as gender identity disorder. That mental health aspect of it that gives us this insatiable need and want to try and medically transition. So it alleviates some dysphoria and some of that disorder so we can feel, so we can go out in public and live a natural life as if we were either trans women or if we were men. And everything that's been going into my transition has so far been working and helping with that. To get depression, I think a lot of us do, most all of us do. Jeez. But now it's transgender has turned into this umbrella thing where it seems like it non-binary. Uh, let's see here, queer, which the original definition means irredeemably deranged. Seems like there's a whole lot that people want to put under the umbrella as being trans. And all I know is that it's become such let's say it seems to have turned into a case of severe brain rot when it comes to actually saying transgender can encompass just about anything. It wasn't meant to be that way. There is actually a real difference. And and there's a big thing about not needing to have gender dysphoria to medically transition. Why are you transitioning then if you don't have gender dysphoria? Where's the discomfort from living in your own body coming from? It's got to be coming from somewhere. It's not coming from outer space. Sometimes that would almost seem nice if it was, maybe, but all jokes aside, gender dysphoria is a thing, and we need having a good therapist who isn't an affirming therapist or a therapist that's going to want a conversion therapist that's going to want to change your mind. I want to get some healthcare, mental health care in there that's going to ask questions. And some of them are simple. When did you realize something was different? When did you start your transition? Things like that. And remember young, it was like a confusion. What's my identity as it pertains to male or female, and what's my role in it? Medical field wasn't as prevalent as it is now for transsexual people. Those of us who want to medically transition. There's a bunch more, and it's probably still on the increase of it. Okay, let's see here. And there's a difference between transsexual and transgender because transgender has become such an openly. I don't need to fit in any kind of criteria to fall in a category. And still be okay with medically transitioning. No, not everybody's okay for being trans or coming out as transsexual and doing what they need to do. I'm sorry, I'm really tired, but I feel like I get some of this stuff out while it's still on my mind. Yeah, we don't have gender dysphoria. You know what's your motivation to say you're trans? What's the motivation to try to go through a medical transition? You know, what's really unbelievable is all I have to do is say I'm trans and I don't have to do anything about it. That's insane. And if you're going to be trans, put some effort into it. Uh, it's giving, it's causing problems with the transsexual community that has gender identity disorder, gender dysphoria. You know, because apparently, quote unquote, no, you don't need gender dysphoria to be trans, considered trans, or wanting to medically transition. Okay, that would fall into the category of a crossdresser. Still male. I'm still male. That's not going to change. Fortunately, biology hasn't got that far advanced to be able to do that and ready to do that. I'm not saying it'll happen. I'm not saying it won't happen. I don't know. It's just, all I know is the medical field has grown quite a lot over the last 30 years. And it's like almost leaps and bounds. And, and that's a good thing for people who are like suffering from whatever. And you can get medical help. And rest assured, we're getting the best quality care that we can at that time. That being said, you know why explore your gender. You know, because there's a difference between a real difference when it comes to having gender dysphoria and not. And then say I'm going to medically transition and I don't have gender dysphoria. Don't need gender dysphoria to medically transition. Insurance companies do not like to help if they can if there's any slack in there for them to think that this is an elective surgery and you don't have to pay for it. We don't have to pay for your gender confirmation surgeries. That's doing harm to us that are transsexual and wanting to medically transition. Not all of us have it out of the pocket money. Enough pocket money to cover those charges. Because it can get expensive. Get really expensive. There'd be multiple surgeries for facial feminization surgery for me. And gender dysphoria is needed. It really is. Diagnosis of that is needed. If not, it's like, like I said, for a lot of us, how are we going to get this medical coverage covered for our medical transition? Yeah, it's definitely a little strange. Because what if you actually have gender dysphoria, end up winding up having gender dysphoria, and then saying we don't need gender dysphoria to medically transition? What then? Especially if we've lost our medical benefits that covered that stuff that we need for medically transitioning. So yeah, there's a lot to go into it with it, but yeah, I'll talk more about it at a later time, maybe when I'm not so tired. Um, so yeah, if no one told you they love you today, I love you. Have a great day. Bye bye.